To welcome is to show honor. To welcome is to establish integrity. Now I invite Dr. Sheba Daniel, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemistry, Holy Cross College, to welcome the deliver address.
Welcome every morning with a smile. Look on the new day and as another special gift from your Creator and another golden opportunity. Happy morning to one and all connected here. It's my indeed pleasure to welcome you all cheerfully to the state level webinar on innovations in display technology. Absence of creativity and innovation makes human life become monotonous and no progressive in general. In this auspicious occasion, first I would like to welcome our dynamic and multi-talented secretary, Dr. Sister Geraldine Jayam, who is a very good motivator and create opportunities for faculty and students. On behalf of the Department of Chemistry, I accord my hearty welcome to you, dear sister. I welcome our principal, Dr. Sister Anne Perpet Sophie, who is tirelessly and meticulously executing the plans for the welfare of the college. On behalf of the Department of Chemistry, I accord my hearty welcome to you, dear sister. I would like to welcome our vibrant Vice Principal, Dr. P. Lima Rose, and the diligent Controller of Examination, Dr. J. Vinolia Josephine Mary. Welcome you, dear sister and dear ma'am. I would like to welcome our today's resource person, Dr. P. Muthumarishwaran, DST Inspire Faculty, Department of Industrial Chemistry, Alagappa University, Karaikudi. We are indeed fortunate to have you as the resource person in our midst to deliver a talk on innovations in display technology. On behalf of the Department of Chemistry, I extend my most cordial welcome to you, sir. It's my immense pleasure to welcome our respected head of the department, Dr. G. Lima Rose, and all other faculty members of our department who are the backbone of all our activities and does multiple tasks with enthusiasm. I accord my hearty welcome to you, dear ma'ams. Moving on, I would like to welcome all the participants from our institution and other institutions across the state connected here to attend the upcoming fruitful session. On behalf of the Department of Chemistry, I extend my cordial welcome to you, dear participants. Once again, I welcome you one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your warmful welcome. The purpose of the felicitation speech is to recognize as well as reward the main achievements of any individual, group of people, or an entire organization. Now I request Dr. Anita Malby, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemistry, to deliver the felicitation.
Good morning, everybody. It gives me immense pleasure to felicitate this webinar on innovations in display technology. Digital display technology is reshaping all aspects of life. The first generation digital display technology was dominated by the cathode ray tubes, followed by liquid crystal display, plasma in second generation, and third generation digital display makes use of any transparent material which wirelessly connects to portable access points. This is an embedded technology which requires number of interactions among its backbone technologies such as glass, plastic, chemical, polymer, electrical circuits, electronics, information technology, and nanotechnology. I congratulate the organizing secretary, Dr. G. Lima Rose, head of the Department of Chemistry, and Dr. Sheba Daniel for choosing such an interesting and essential topic of this century. I wish all the very best and invoke God's blessings for the smooth conduct of this webinar. At this juncture, I feel glad to welcome Dr. Muthumarishwaran, a right personality to share his views on innovation in display technology. The students and scholars are indeed lucky enough to gain knowledge on display technology and make the best use of these topics for their future studies and career. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, ma'am, for your admirable felicitation. May I now request Dr. Sheba Daniel, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemistry, to introduce our resource person for the day, Dr. P. Muthumarishwaran, DST, INSPIRE Faculty, Department of Industrial Chemistry, Alagappa University, Karaikudi, to our esteemed audience.
Innovation is seeing what everybody has seen and thinking what nobody has thought. Technology, like art, is a soaring exercise of the human imagination. Technology is best when it brings people together. It's my pleasure to welcome our resource person, Dr. P. Muthumarishwaran, DST INSPIRE Faculty, Department of Industrial Chemistry, Alagappa University, Karaikudi. He has completed his PhD from Madurai Kamaraj University and subsequently did his postdoctoral research in Korea Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, South Korea, in the year 2012 to 2014. His research areas are photochemistry, supramolecular chemistry, and carbon dioxide mitigation. Dr. P. Muthumarishwaran is a renowned researcher and innovator, and his findings were published in more than 50 research articles in international reputed journals with citation index 412, H index 13, and I-10 index 15. Currently, he is being the principal investigator of two major projects funded by RUSA and DST INSPIRE with a financial outlay of rupees 37.275 lakhs. Apart from all, he is always enthusiastic and diligent to share his knowledge for the betterment in the field of chemistry. He has been serving as resource person and guest speaker in various seminars and conferences. Today, we are fortunate to have such an eminent researcher as resource person to enlighten us on innovations in display technology. On behalf of the Department of Chemistry and the participants connected here, I extend my most cordial welcome to you, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam. So, shall I start my presentation now? Share my screen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, good morning to everyone. Today's topic, first of all, I thank the organizers of this type of innovative technology seminar and Holy College for giving me this opportunity to present my views on display technology. So, this topic is totally a different topic, which is not fundamentally a chemistry topic, it's a technology topic. So, I have decided to make some basic principles of this innovation technology to explain these principles. After that, the next level of technology transfer can be explained in this presentation. Okay. Therefore, we have to start from the scratch and how the display has its own impact on the societal views. Okay. Therefore, we can start with what is display and what is vision. So, what is vision? We I think have shown this slide in various photochemistry talks and spectroscopic talks. Our eyesight has restricted of having visible only to certain amount of wavelength, which is from red to violet. Okay, this is the okay, this is the portion of our eye where the receptor, photoreceptors will convert the signals to light. Okay, therefore the process will be takes place like this. And why we are having the restriction in this region itself is nothing but due to the chemistry of retinal. Chemistry of retinal have cis and trans isomerization, which is has the energy between 149 to 299 kilojoule. Therefore, beyond there is no any transition of this retinal rearrangement. We don't have any if there is no any other wavelength, which is 797 like that, then we will be able to see some other ultraviolet region. But the retinal transition has only restrictions between 149 to 299 kbps. That's why we are seeing only the displays in this mission in this region only. So how the display is taking place? First, what is the vision? If you are wearing a red color shirt, how we are seeing a red color shirt? Okay, when you are seeing a red color shirt, the light is falling on the red color shirt. Except that red color, all the other colors are absorbed by that shirt. Only red color is not observed by the shirt. That color we are seeing as a color of the shirt. Okay, so suppose we are seeing a line called the energy, which is red color in this Jablonski diagram. What is happening here? Only red color is not observed by the line. Then only we are able to see the red color. Okay, this can be explained by means of absorption, Jablonski diagram. When the molecule is absorbing a light with a certain amount of wavelength, the remaining wavelength, which is not absorbed by the substance, will be as a color of that substance. Okay. After that, the absorbed molecules, the molecules which absorbs energy can be give back that energy in different ways. That is, one is radiative decay, another one is non-radiative decay. That's why we are feeling heat when the light is very shiny. And these are the basic principles of photochemistry, and the processes are light absorption, internal conversion, vibrational relaxation, intersystem process, fluorescence, phosphorescence are the basic phenomena of these photochemical principles, which are mostly applied to the display technologies. We can see the time scale and the transitions here in this table. Okay, so we have to know what is called the luminescence and what is called the fluorescence. Okay, fluorescence and phosphorescence are different terms. Even it may be related terms, but it is slightly different terms from the luminescence. Luminescence means the light coming out from the substance. Fluorescence and phosphorescence means when the light is absorbed by the substance and the substance will get excited and giving back the energy. Giving back energy is just giving back by the substance, maybe in the radiative decay or non-radiative decay. If it is non-radiative decay, then it is heat energy. Radiative decay then depends upon the time delay in the emission. We can coin it as a fluorescence or a phosphorescence. Suppose if you are not exciting molecule by light, okay, we are exciting that material by some other way. For example, heating or passing some energies like current, okay, or some by chemical reaction or by pressure. If we can obtain light from these type of things, then it is called luminescence. And the luminescence is a very important term to make a display devices in this phase. Okay, so here we have the different photochemistry, reverse process of the photochemistry. That is, we are utilizing pressures or currents, that is electrical currents and other things to make a luminescent lamp. Okay, so basic principles, basic thing of display device is nothing but your photo camera. What is happening in the photo camera? We have a silver nitrate, silver coated polymeric sheets. We are going to expose. We are exposing that sheets in the vision what we are seeing depends upon the vision. The light is strike on that material or scenery will come back to the original sheet, that is a polymeric sheet, and it will affect the chemicals which is coated on the polymeric sheet. Depends upon the color, the chemical reaction will take place and make a picture. Okay, then we will make a printout using this polymeric sheets. Okay, celluloid sheets. So this is the old days of technology, and it is also for the proper celluloid camera. Then how the picture can be movable? Iris will have its own recognition that 1.8 milliseconds the capture can be seen in this iris. Okay, therefore we are making some movable screenshots and make it as a running material. Then we can see it in a movable way. For example, in the older days, the children will go and to see the projectors using their eyes. They will run that celluloid films to make a film. Okay. The advantage thing of this film is nothing but your cinema, olden days cinema, where the photographic plates are fixed one by one, and the the projector will produce a white light. After that white light is passing through the celluloid film, your image will be projected on the screen. Since it is continuously running, you can see that the movie is playing continuously. Okay, this is one of the technique, a very old technique, but from that technique only the digital imaging has been come across. Okay, for understanding after that, what is the idea of the next generation of that film technology? The light projector, the projector light is passing through the celluloid plane, but we have to project image in some other screens. Instead of seeing some other screens, the people have to think about how about the film itself can be played and we can see directly. Okay, because that big screen cannot be a movable one. We have to take to every home. Therefore, they have utilized, they have viewed about CRT televisions, cathode ray televisions. Okay, this case. So the idea of CRT television is starting from the tube light. That's all. Okay. What are the fluorescent tube lights components? It's nothing but your mercury glass and phosphor coating, which is white color coating on the tube light. Two electrode coils. Inside that, some mercury vapor will be there, and some gases will be there. That is, neon, argon gases will be there. So, what is the working principle of this? Is the structure of fluorescent lamp with this tube light, and you will have this aluminum cap and electrode material. Here, some argon and krypton gases will be there. A small amount of mercury will be there inside the tube light, which makes a small amount of mercury vapor to ionize and produce light, and there will be a phosphor coating. It is not a phosphorus, it is called phosphor coating. We will look at the, what is phosphor coating in the consecutive slides. Okay, this is the working principle of a fluorescent lamp. When the electrodes are illuminated, that is, discharge will happen. The electrons are ejected from the cathode will ionize mercury atom. Okay, but mercury atom immediately it will lose its energy to get back to the original position, and deionizing itself due to the presence of noble gases. The original, when the original position is attained, a UV light is emitted from these mercury atoms. Okay, this UV light is converted by as a visible light by the Pascal material. Okay, when the UV light is fall on the Pascal material, and the Pascal material will absorb UV light, and it will give back a visible light. This is the phenomenon of tube light. And let's see how the CRT displays are similar with this tube lights. Okay. Here is also we have a cathode which is called the electric gun, and there is a focusing system inside the tube, and deflection plates will be there to deflect the electric gun. Then there will be a Pascal coated screen. Okay. When the electron is ejected from this material, and this electron will strike away this electron Pascal coated screen. Okay. At that time, you will get a visible light by directly striking the electrons. Since due to this deflection planes, the beam emitted from the electron gun can be rearranged. For example, if you want to make a circle on the screen, what will happen? This deflection plates will play a role to make this beam as a round. Okay, then you can see a circle in this display device, and your eyes restriction is 1.8 milliseconds. Therefore, you can see a circle on the screen. This is how a CRT display is working with the help of electron gun. Okay, and depends upon the Pascal material coated on the screen, and depends upon the amount of Pascal material and slight modifications in the Pascal material, the display of this quality of this display will be delivered. And it depends upon the color television, whether it is a black and white television, whatever it may be. Okay. So what is Pascal material? Up to CRT monitor, it is very clear that they are very old technologies. From the probe itself, from the CRT display itself, they are very old technologies. But we are not going to use the same principles in the consecutive technologies like LCD screen or TFT screens or OLED televisions. Okay, but anyhow, the Pascal material is going to be used continuously to make LED materials or whatever it may be. Pascal material is nothing but a mixture of materials having transition metals and metals from lanthanides and actinides. Okay? So depends upon the doping of these materials, will have its own color spectrum. Okay. In this Pascal material, there will be a host matrix where the thickest matrix may be transition metals or silicots or TiO2 surfaces, whatever it may be, semiconductor surfaces. Their optical band and phonon spectrum will be different, will be unique, not different. Why this is called the phonon spectrum means it will give you a single sharp line. It is not going to give you a broad Bayes spectrum. If you are, for example, if you are taking an emission spectra of Guinean complex, you will get a very broad spectrum from 600 to 650. But here in this spectrum, we will give a single wavelength color, that is called phonon spectrum. And the doping material which is used in this material, material will make the choice of the color. Okay, and also some impurities and defects also will in the matrix of the solid state material will also play in some role. Okay. And these are the sum of luminescent materials, that is lanthanide based luminescent materials for Pascal coatings. Okay, therefore they are mostly by s electrons, that is outermost electrons, and they are called some sharp. They have some sharp lines. For example, you can see in this spectrum, yttrium will have red color, and gadolinium have magenta color, and europium has some slightly orange color, and terbium have green color emission. Okay, these are the lanthanide 3 plus ion emissions. Okay, lanthanide series. This can be used as a dopant for a particular colors. And some of the basic luminescent materials which are used in these devices can be seen in this slide, where pyridium have scintillators and lasers, neodymium have laser applications, samarium have detector applications, European 3 plus are mostly used in fluorescent lamps, for example in tube lights and the other fluorescent light. Only europium will be used, and UV lamps, gadoliniums will be used, where the UV lamps are mostly applied. Examples in the water tanks. To make to kill bacteria, you will use UV lamp, where the UV3 plus materials will be used. Terbium is also used in fluorescent lamps. And apart from these things, samarium 3 plus and yttrium 3 plus, here it is used in plasma displays. Okay. Most of the materials used in LED TVs are cerium 3 plus and europium 2 plus, 2 plus material, because it is possible to make the dopant host matrix ratio to alternate the color. For example, in this slide, you can see the dopant variations and the host matrix variations. Okay. From here to here, you can see that potassium manganese chloride matrix, which is doped with europium, will have 359 color. For like this, the europium have its own ratios to give a different colors, which can be entirely cover the visible range of the spectrum. Okay, from 359 to 700, which is almost covering all the spectrum of visible range. So these are the dopant materials. These are the positive materials which covers entirely the visible spectrum of vision. Okay. When these dopant materials are used, they have to make in a simple way. That is, they have to make a different tiny things, which is called the pixels. For example, if you are making a digital picture, and you will see what is called pixels. Here, in this photo, if you enlarge this photo, you will see that this type of squares, which are called the pixels, which is mostly consist of three colors: blue, green, and red. Okay, these are the basic colors, but some other variations will also can be made to fix this pixels. If your pixel size is very small and the amount of pixels is very large, then your photo is will be very clear. So what is called pixels? Pixels is nothing but a very small tiny portion of photograph. In that photograph, what is happening in the screen? A very small amount of phosphor is coated in a square shape. Okay, and can this take a white phosphor material, green phosphor material, blue phosphor material, and red phosphor material, red color giving phosphor material. These three squares can be take one after another, and it will make the pixel. Okay, when the variations of this, the light penetration of this material will take place, depends upon the light penetration, you will see the color. Or if you are going to make some other material, some other color, combination of two other colors will be there. Suppose if you want brown, you can see that mixing of green color and red color, then you will get a brown color. Okay. Likewise, this only like this, the photography or a digital photography or a digital video devices are working. Okay, so we have seen what is pixels now, and we can see what are the liquid crystal displays. From the liquid crystal displays, you can easily see the, you can view that this what is called the pixels. Okay, what is liquid crystal displays and what is liquid crystals? Liquid crystals are nothing but a very big organic molecules which has a very particular crystallinity, and it is possible to transfer the crystallinity or change the crystallinity of the substance or that molecule by applying external current, electric field, magnetic field, or pressure, whatever it may be. Okay, this is called the liquid crystals. So, how the liquid crystals can be utilized in the display devices? For example, if I will come back to this later, I will show this screen to you. Okay, this is nothing but a simple calculator display or a watch display, whatever it is. Okay, you can see this one here. One panel of liquid crystal, another panel of liquid crystal. This is one panel, this is one panel, this is one panel, this is one panel, this is one panel. So totally how much panels are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 panels are there to make a number called 8. Okay. So what will be the property of the liquid crystal means? Here you can see the liquid crystals will be packed between two electrodes, which are nothing but very transparent, like ITO glass electrodes, like FTO glass electrodes. Okay, these two electrodes can conduct electricity in between them, even though they are transparent. The liquid crystals will be packed inside that two electrodes. When bias is applied, the orientation of the liquid crystals will change. Okay, there will be a light from the back side of this material, which is passing through this liquid crystal material. This light is black when the liquid crystal is changing its orientation. Okay, so in a particular way, the grid is electrode grid is given as a bias. The polarization will take place to the liquid crystals, and it will stop the light. Okay, this is what happened here. For example, if you are giving bias to this panel and this panel, what will happen? The light from the back side is totally arrested by these two panels. You can see a number 1. Okay, if it is arrested by all these panels, then you can see number 8. This is the basic principle of liquid crystal display, which is available in your watches, calculators, and everything. Okay, in this section, in a slightly advanced way, how the liquid crystal bigger displays will start to work. You can see that it is a very big panel. You can see the simple panels, very tiny panels, which is consists of two electrodes. A liquid crystal is packed in between the display device, electrodes. Therefore, when the bias is applied, the liquid crystal will come to change its orientation. Therefore, the backlight is stopped by this device, and this dot will appear. So, if you want to make a line, there will be so many dots. Then you can see a line here. Okay. This is how the liquid crystal display is working. But at the same time, it is not just a liquid crystal for making one simple vision, which is called a 1 or 2 or 3, like your calculator. We have already seen that there are liquid crystal displays in the laptops and your TV screens, how they are working. They have the same structure of this calculator, but in a slightly advanced way. Okay. Here, the bottom polarizer and top polarizer will be there. In this area, you will get a light mixture. Okay. And between these two polarizers, there will be a transparent electrodes will be here, and the liquid crystal is placed inside this between these two electrodes. Okay. Therefore, the lamp will make its light, and it will go through this prism, and have to make a travel from refractive polarizer to LCD panel. Therefore, depends upon the color mixing of this material, the colors will be transferred from this. The total color will be transferred from penetrate from the liquid crystal. Okay. Therefore, you can see some colored pictures in your television. Okay, this is the basic principle of liquid crystal display when you are using a liquid crystals. But at the same time, how it is working. For example, some polarizers, actually the light is totally filtered in a single polarized light using this bottom polarizer. Okay, then only the display device will cut off the light or will allow the light to penetrate through the crystal surface. Otherwise, if all the light is coming from outside, there will be a distraction in the display. Okay, that's why in the liquid crystals we will have some twisted pneumatic angles. Okay, when the electric the polarization of this light penetrated to the liquid crystal display may be allowed or cut it off by making the two display orientations, but at the same time some light will cross over the liquid crystal display even though the orientation is changed. Okay, this is called optical aberration. For example, if you are having a crystals like prism-like crystals, if you are allowing some light passing through the crystal, what will happen for a prism? What will happen? Usually, it will make a reflection in the angle. You have studied it in your 11th standard or 12th standard physics. But at the same time, the only deflection will not take place. There is some minute error in the crystallinity. The deflection will be two different ways. Okay, one is optical deflection and another is optical aberration. That type of aberrations can also take place in this liquid crystal displays. That's why we are. That's why the some amount of light, even though the light is blocked by the liquid crystals, will stray away from the liquid crystal display. Therefore, this is why we have to see the liquid crystal displays in the right angles at 180 degrees. If you are going to, if you are watching that television by sideways, you cannot see the exact figure, exact vision on the display. Okay, this is called twisted pneumatic viewing angle. And these are about the LED displays. For example, in these panels, you can see some backlight images, and this light will be dispersed by this prism to cross over the polarizer and color mixture and everything. Okay, the same light have to travel from the liquid crystal, but at the same time, it is not the efficient way to disperse a light throughout the display. That's why the first generation liquid crystal displays will have blur on the edges of this display. To avoid this type of blurrings and to enhance the amount of displays and to avoid the scattering the twisted pneumatic angles, the further development of the liquid crystal displays has been carried over by replacing this lamp by LED lights. Okay, mostly, and also some phosphor material coatings using the instead of this refractive polarizer. Okay, this type of material is a mix of LEDs and the LCDs. Then this display, due to the replacement of all these devices by a single LED and phosphor coatings, you can see that the size of LCD display have reduced in the next generations. Okay, this is called the TFT displays, that is thin film technology displays. Okay, it's a mixed displays of LCD and inorganic materials. After that, LED displays will have started its own career. This also have a long journey because from the LED lights. Okay, what are the LED lights? You can see this type of lights in every part of your life. Okay, there are so many lamps, like your charger will have small amount of lights and the indicator lights, and you can see the this type of lights in some decorating lights. Okay, they are called the LED lights. They have some other basic principles, just like how the fluorescent lamps, that is tube lights, have inspired to make CRT display. These LCD displays will have its own way to convert into the LED displays. So this how the LED displays are working. These LED displays are nothing but PN junction containing semiconductors, where when the bias is given, the holes and the electrons are transported to approach each other to give light. Okay, when the light is given, what will happen? The energy will be emitted from this type of material, and the light output will come here to make attachment, that is to excite the phosphor coating, which is placed in the epoxy lamp, and it will give a color. For example, if it is a red color phosphor material, then you will get a red emitting material, and blue phosphor material, you will get a blue color. Okay. At the same time, the amount of electricity required to make this bias is very less. For example, if you are a tube light, what will happen? You have to make a very heavy potential to make a discharge in between the vacuum regenerator. It's a low vacuum noble gas filled materials tube. Okay, only small amount of mercury will be made as a vapor to make a discharge. So it requires too much of energy, but at the same time, in this device, in this LED, you don't need that much of energy. Even a single battery or a very low amount of 2-volt cell itself enough to create this PN junction, make it as a material. Okay, so what will happen in this material? There are so many components are there. One is transparent plastic case and internal pins and diodes. Here is the diodes. Diodes are nothing but your PN junction semiconductors filled. Energy emitted from the photon, which causes light, or it may be some UV light, The password coating in the transparent plastic case, that is epoxy case, will contain the blending of phosphor material will give you light. Okay, so how the LEDs are connected in large display devices? Okay, this is a simple example. You will get some external ICs and some other resistors will be there to make a simple circuit. But this type of breadboard and yes, panel of LED materials you can see in the advertisement boards, a very large display advertisement boards. And if you have, you can see that political parties, when they are campaigning, they will use this type of devices. Okay, and it is evaluated. It is actually evolved from a very basic display, which is even now even our buses have digital displays like this. The LED displays will run out. Okay, even though you are using mobiles and laptops, the displays are LED. These are the basic LED display devices used from the starting itself. Okay. Then what is OLED devices? LED is nothing but your light emitting diodes having inorganic semiconductors. Okay. Then the P is a positive semiconductor, N is a negative semiconductor. Then these two semiconductors are placed side by side. When the bias is applied, the electron will pass over the surface of one semiconductor and go to the holes of the other p-type semiconductor. Okay, there will be an energy barrier. To overcome that energy barrier, you are applying a simple bias. But they are inorganic materials. After the development of conductive polymers like epoxy polymers and polyaniline and polysterols, imidazole networks, it is possible to conduct electricity by the polymer itself. Okay. Otherwise, a simple organic molecules can also be a conductive materials. What is conductive materials and what are the insulator materials and what are the semiconductive materials? The conductive materials will have free electrons in their matrix itself. For example, if you are having copper wire, you have Cu matrix as a three-dimensional network. In that matrix itself, there will be some valency electrons available inside the matrix itself to move freely from one copper to another copper. So if you are giving a simple bias, then it will move. The same type of matrix can be generated using simple conductive organic molecules itself. Okay, they are called organic conductors or organic materials which can use in OLED device. So when these materials are used in the OLED devices, it is very simple to make a conductive material. For example, if you are having a liquid crystal display, you will have to make one cathode, one anode, which is made up of glass. Okay, mostly ITO glass or FTO glass. Otherwise, in a higher level of thin polymer sheet, which is conductive material. You have to place the liquid crystal between these two materials. Think about a very thin sheet of polymer which is available, which is having conductivity, or just a sheet of organic molecule placed in between the two cathodes. Okay, the size will be reduced drastically. At the same time, the bias applied in this matrix will be reduced drastically. Okay. For example, in a fluorescent lamp, you will have too much. You need too much of voltage or bias to make a discharge, but at the same time, there is no necessity to take that much of electricity for making a light from the LED device. Just like that, even a much reduction of electricity requirement will also come to the OLED devices. The organic material should be emissive at the same time conductive. This is the basic principle for making a OLED device. So how the OLED device will work? OLED device is nothing but you have to make a conductive layer and cathode. In between these two devices, the molecules has to arrange in a regular way. Okay, so there are so many simple molecules which are arranged and stacked with a simple pixels. Then you can make it as a green or blue light or a white light emitting diodes. Then you will get some simple lights. Okay, these are the device architecture. So this is the conductive layer, this is the emissive layer, where this is anode and this is cathode. A light is coming emitted by the conductive layer. A very thin sheet of conductive layer will be there, and it is placed on the anode. Between the conductive layer and the emissive layer, you will have a thin layer of organic molecules, which is emitting a very bright lights or a particular light. Okay, can be stacked in this layer. Therefore, when simple bias is applied in this cathode and anode, okay, these cathode and anodes are not FTO or ITO plates, are nothing but just simple organic sheets. Okay. Therefore, when the bias is applied, the conductive layer will conduct the electricity. When the electricity is conducted, the emitting layer will stimulate its emission to give emission of a particular light. If it is a green emission, then green light will be delivered. Blue light, then blue light will be delivered. And if you want to make some other colors, green, blue, red colors can be mixed to give a particular type of display. For example, in this picture, you can see the red, green, and yellow. These two colors can be mixed to get yellow color. Okay. Therefore, it is possible to get a very tiny pixels of this type of polymers. This type of materials can be used for the devices. Therefore, when the pixel size is reduced, you can see the very quality displays. Okay, and also the very important thing in this OLED devices they are completely transparent. Even in the electric crystal displays itself, one side is transparent, the other side we have to make some dispersion of light or LED. If it is a TFT display, then there will be a breadboard of LEDs will be there. But here, the light is not coming away from the material. Okay. See, just we can see that from the CRT display itself, the light will be coming from our other side, and it will make it up phosphor material, and it will glow the phosphor material. But here, the light is not from the it is not coming from the other sources. Here, the pixel itself is a light source. Okay. Therefore, you can CA quality materials with the transparent things. Okay, even you can. There are some advanced technologies where the circuits and other things are rooted totally in some other area. The display you can see from both sides. Okay, transparent material. So this is the device architecture. Okay, first cathode and another one is organic layer, and this is indium tin oxide. White LEDs can also be staked here. Blue LEDs can also be staked here. Okay, in this, uh, for example, this is uh, this is a crystal of giving red LED. This is a crystal of giving yellow LED. This is crystal of giving green LED, and this is the crystal of blue LED. And all these can be staked in a single pixel itself to give a particular color. If you want to get one color, then one layer will be illuminated. That is, one layer will be giving biased. Then that particular color will come out. If there is another two type of layers is also biased, then they will also emit light. Then you will get a mixed colors. Okay, this is the basic principle of OLEDs. So if how the small OLEDs have structures. Okay, in a single layer device, cathode, anode, and organic layer will be there, and in a PN junction device, electron transport layer, hole transport layer will be there. Okay. In multiple layer device, cathode, electron injection layer, electron transport layer, emissive layer, hole transport layer, hole injection layers will be there. Okay. All these layered devices can be staked on one by one in a tiny, very small amount of picture. I am talking all these things about only one picture, not about the total display. Okay, all these stackings are taking place only one picture. So how the OLED is working? Nothing but this electron injection layer will get electron from the hole, and transport layer will make a hole from this direction, and in which layer the electron and hole is going to get recombination, that color will be appear. Okay, in the emission layer. For example, if your electron is electron hole combination is taking place in the red color layer, then red color light will appear. If the electron hole recombination is taking place in the blue layer, the blue light will emit. So it depends upon the mixing of the colors, the color will be appear. Okay, these are the basic principle of OLED materials. And the next one is polymer LED devices. What are the polymer LED devices, and what are the advantages from the polymer LED devices and the OLED devices? OLED devices are made up of a simple molecules like naphthalene or some other conductive materials like indersonic materials like that. But here in PLOD devices, you will get only polymers. Okay, a single sheet polymers can be varied in between to make a particular line. And the utilization of polymers will also reduce the cost of production of these devices. Therefore, it is very simple way of production of PLED devices will take place. So, how the OLED devices are manufactured? Okay, they are used using vacuum evaporation method, organic vapor phase deposition method, ink printing methods. Okay, these are the materials used in the simple OLED devices. For example, aluminum complexes, metal filling complexes, hydrogen, these type of aluminum complexes, TPP, these type of materials will have their own particular emitting lights. For example, this aluminum complex will emit a blue light, and this fired material will emit a green light. This steel picking material will emit a red color light. So these materials can be vaporized to give and attached with you can see in the next slide how it is vacuum evaporation will take place. The polymer light emitting diodes are nothing but polyaniline, polyvinylene, polyfluorine type of materials. This is also some of materials which is used in OLED devices, and phosphorescent dyes also used like iridium dyes and platinum dyes. Like Barney and PGO materials, PFS materials also can be used as a PL polymer OLED devices. Okay, these are called polymer emissive layers and conductive layers. So how the organic vapor evaporation method and injection printing method can be used? Okay, for example, look at these surfaces. Okay. Organic vapor jet printing is nothing but making an organic source, that is a molecule with a volatile solvent, and make it as a printing. Just a small amount of spray will be there in a tiny area. Okay, then immediately it is the solvent of that material will be evaporated. Then you will have a small amount of a dot. Okay, that dot will have a particular organic source, will work as a particular picture. And this is one of the method. Another one is vapor thermal evaporation method. Vapor thermal evaporation method is nothing but you are evaporating this material, totally evaporating this material, and making making it as a coating for some other electrode devices. Okay, so this device will have a very particular type of mechanisms will be there and cost effective, but at the same time, organic paper jet printing is very cost reductive method, a less cost material. Okay, and patterning technologies. How the technologies can easily cast polymer films on the materials. So in this area, this is a thermal evaporation method. Heating of small molecules will happen, will take place. The pixel size will be fixed on the cathode material. Then the molecules will made to allow by heating filament and vacuum. It will deposit on this material to give a particular layer of this small molecule OLEDs. Okay, therefore there will be a layer by layer method. Depositions will take place to give a device. In polymer OLED devices, there are so many methods to make a coating. There is spin coating, inkjet coating, spin printing, web coating, like that. Spin coating is nothing but a polymer film can be made by spinning small amount of spinning material on surface. The polymer will be dropped from the top, and the spinning will make it as an even coating. Okay, this is spin coating of a polymer film, but it's a very basic method. The highly important method is inkjet printing. So in this material, you can see that there will be a matrix of display, and the polymer which are used which have to be used for the particular color will be dissolved in some of the solvents, and it will be printed as per the need. Okay, It is just like making a printing of a inkjet printer in your paper. That's all. A very simple method. Okay, that's why nowadays the polymer printing of technologies will take place. Only due to this technologies, the upcoming technology is like a flexible display devices. Okay, it is very simple, a very particular conductive layer, and on that conductive layer, there will be a three component display coatings of polymer. If it is red, then red layer, blue layer, green layer. Then another one conductive polymer layer. The conductivity will take place, so the light will emit. Okay. Therefore, it's a very simple method. So in this method, there will be the ITO classes and the FTO classes can be avoided. You can use directly polymers as a conductive materials, cathodes and anodes. Therefore, it is possible, uh, not possible, it is available in the not in the market, but at the same time, the LG and Samsung type of companies have already introduced the flexible panel displays. Okay, this is the advanced stage of display devices. And the another one type of display devices are nothing but your holograms. Holograms is not available right now. There is you can see in the films, for example, in James Bond films and some other films, you can see that some a man from land will come out and you can speak with him. Okay, this type of 3D animated things are called holographic displays, and they are the upcoming uh, display advancements. Okay, thank you for watching this presentation. And if you have any questions, you can ask.
Thank you, sir, for providing our valuable insights on innovations in display technology. And you have clearly explained the principal mechanism of LED, LCDs, and polymer OLEDs and its applications. And it was a great pleasure having you here, sir.
Thank you.
Now the section is open for discussion. We will go ahead and take some time for questions. Participants, feel free to ask your doubts. You can unmute your mic and ask your doubts, or else you can type your questions in the chat box. And those who are attending in the live stream in YouTube, you can raise your questions in the comment box. Participants, please wait till the end of the section. Feedback link will be provided in the chat and the comment box after the vote of thanks. And e-certificates will be provided
Sir,
those who are filling the
one more doubt.
feedback form.
Excuse me, madam. One more doubt.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Can I
Yes.
ask?
Yeah, please.
Sir, if hole is a site, sir.
Please.
Hole, the site, can be transferred from anode. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hole is a site,
Yes. Yes.
Can it move?
Actually, when the electron is taken from one side, then there is
Okay,
called
sir.
hole. Okay.
Okay.
What the anode will work? It will pull the electron from the matrix. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Then the nearby electron will come to the hole to fill that hole. Therefore, the hole will move. This is called the hole movement. That's all. Yeah, phenomenally telling that hole is moving. That actual phenomena is it is not the hole moving. The electron
Yes,
is
sir.
moving in the opposite direction. That's all.
It's a relative phenomena,
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Participants, you can ask your doubts. Thank you, sir. It was a
Thank you,
great
madam.
eye-opening section. So, thankfulness is the beginning of gratitude, and gratitude is a completion of thankfulness. I take this privilege to propose vote of thanks. As all good things come to end in life, so is a webinar. On behalf of Department of Chemistry, Holy Cross College, I take this opportunity to propose vote of thanks to those who have directly and indirectly contributed to this webinar a successful one. First, I thank God Almighty for making this state-level webinar on innovations in display technology a grand success. Next, I would like to thank our principal, secretary, vice principal, and controller of examination for their enthusiastic support. Next, I would like to thank our head of the Department of Chemistry, Dr. G. Lima Rose, for her constant support throughout this webinar. At the outset, I thank our resource person and chief guest, Dr. P. Muthumarishwaran. We are really enlightened with your knowledge and presence, sir. And especially, I thank the social media committee for their technical support and their live streaming. A heartfelt thanks to all the participants for finding time and joining us for today's webinar. Thanks again for joining us today and hope to see you next time. Participants, kindly fill the feedback form which is available in the chat and comment box. An e-certificate will be provided on submission of feedback. Participants, fill the feedback form which is available now in the chat and the comment box. With this, we conclude our section. Thank you one and all for joining us. Have a great day.